All right, you've heard a good deal that the president now and Democrats on Capitol Hill, they might be inking sort of some common ground on forming an agreement that will set the stage for other agreements, let's say on infrastructure, because the president also hinted just yesterday that he wants to showcase that in his State of the Union address next week. He was talking apparently north of $1 trillion over 10 years, $1.7 trillion when some reporters were pushing him for firm figures. Where's that money going to come from? The former Housing and Urban Development Secretary under one President Bill Clinton, Henry Cisneros. Secretary, we're going to have you back.
Glad to be back, sir.
That's a big bill, $1.7 trillion. I know you've advocated, in fact, back in the Clinton days, advocating that these are some of the long-term issues we should be addressing. How do you pay for that?
Well, I think the expectation is probably $1 trillion. And what I have seen for months now is about $200 billion of actual federal dollars. So the federal tab is not that great. It's $200 billion.
And then they're matching private.
And then matching efforts to bring private capital and also public debt. How do you induce that? Well, things like bringing pension capital, for example, even private equity capital, induce it with lowering barriers to building infrastructure, rationalizing what is done at the federal and the local level in terms of permits and expediting the work, and identifying those things that have monetized returns. For example, ports, airports with concession fees and landing fees. We can do a lot of it on the private side. The United States is behind the rest of the world in terms of bringing private capital to public infrastructure.
And the private money wants to see the public money do something for us, like a higher gas tax. Do you agree with that?
Yes, because that's part of the process of monetizing what people use, like roads and like toll roads and others of that. So I think this is ripe for bipartisan agreement. There's a lot of gain here.
It should be, right? But they don't do much bipartisan.
Well, someone asked me the other day, what is it going to take to make this bipartisan? And I think there's some things you should be looking for. Are rural areas included, for example? If the administration only puts in incentives to large private capital so that you get judged on a project, basically how much private capital can you bring, rural areas and areas with real needs that are poor are not going to be able to play. So I'm very impressed. There's some leaks about what the administration plan looks like, and it looks like they've thought that through. They have set-asides for rural areas. They have a number of traditional programs that are more grant-oriented for, let us say, the Flint water system.
But bottom line, there's more agreement on this, for example, some other issues.
I think they're listening.
Even after this whole immigration back and forth. How do you think Chuck Schumer handled that?
My sense, let me finish this point, if I may, and that is, I'm impressed. I think that the administration has thought this through. Gary Cohen and the group, Secretary Chow at Transportation, they've put in place a lot of things that I think Democrats can work with.
All right. I mentioned Chuck Schumer, and I mentioned whether he can still work on infrastructure after the whole immigration does.
Well, you know, memories are short in Washington. You have a defeat today, and then you go out and win tomorrow. It's like an NFL team. You have to have a short memory for the defeat because you're going to play another game next Sunday. And Chuck Schumer's going to be a force in the Congress for the long haul. I'm in New York with the
Giants. We don't have short term. We just have the whole term.
You won 2 Super Bowls over the Patriots.
Well, all right. But let me ask you this about where the immigration stuff goes. They do seem to have middle ground here. But now when people like Joe Manchin are open to consider a wall or part of a wall, you know, should Chuck Schumer revisit that? He took it off the table after putting it on.
He took it off the table to negotiate.
Right.
Look, we have 700,000 human beings who really, by all rights, need to be in the country, deserve to be in the country. They have no other country. They are contributors here. We got to fix that problem. And some of the most staunch advocates of immigration reform and the dreamers say, look, if what it takes is some movement toward what the president wants on the wall, then that's the price for dealing with those 700,000. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. It's worth it in the sense that 700,000 people are vulnerable to deportation.
But it would be a human tragedy. Shutting down the government to do that.
Well, shutting down the government is a whole different thing. Shutting down the government deals with all of our obligations.
Mightily from that shutdown, right?
He's not the one who did it, though. It wasn't his plan.
We'll back and forth on that. This president has been often quoting these markets post the tax cut, his regulatory relief, and saying everything's on fire. Bill Clinton was loath to do that, at least quote the markets as much, because, to paraphrase him, much like Ronald Reagan, you don't want to be caught in the middle of a big crash, and all of a sudden they're playing video of you talking up the markets.
Well, Bill Clinton presided over what has been the largest expansion in American history, and we saw unemployment rates drop, business formations rise, incomes rise. It was a very effective expansion. This one is a long expansion, and people who are fair give President Obama due credit for getting the economy up from the recession, and now President Trump is able to preside over a serious boom.
Year, and I think, but the last year, Henry, do you give the president any credit for this, the last year?
I do.
Would we have had that if Hillary Clinton were elected?
There would be some aspect of this if Hillary Clinton were elected, but I think the talk about deregulatory environment, and I think even tax reform, has many things that appeal to business, and we're going to see some growth as a result of that.
Are you surprised by the number of companies? There are now, better than 3 dozen prominent ones, affecting upwards of 4 million Americans, getting bonus checks, getting stock, and all this.
I am a little surprised. I am a little surprised.
Do you think Democrats who vote against it, that was every one of them, will regret that?
I am a little surprised to see companies as aggressively raising wages and such, because in ordinary times they might not have done that. But in this climate of scrutiny and the debate that occurred over tax reform, I think many of them are inclined to say we want to show that we're pro-worker, pro-growth, pro-middle class, pro-family budgets.
You think they're worried that this is going to look too good for Republicans in November?
No, nobody's worried about looking too good. This is going to be a battle in November.
You think so?
It's going to be a dogfight. Yeah. I mean, every day there is something that contributes to the political debate, whether it's the Russia probe or whether it's issues related to immigration. There's so many things on the table that are unpredictable. There's no doubt in my mind we're not going to know the results of the election in November till that night.
I actually think you're absolutely right about that. Henry Cisneros, the former Secretary under President Bill Clinton, very successful in the world of business as well.